today we're going to be solving rational functions, okay? But the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure we can multiply, because if we can't multiply, this is not going to go well. So here you've got two terms trying to multiply into this. So what you want to do is you want to take the x and you want to multiply it times both terms. So that would be x times x minus 6. So those of you that use this little thing, I'm just writing out what you're actually going to do because I find people make less mistakes if they write it out. And then we've got 7 that's going to multiply times everything. So we're going to take that 7 and multiply it times everything. So let's go ahead and do that here. Boom, boom. So we have x squared minus 6x plus 7x minus 42. And then these two here are like terms, so x squared plus x minus 42. Some of you also use a box method where you write the x and the 7 here and the x and the negative 6 here. And then you go through and you multiply what matches up. So that'll be x squared. This will be negative 6x. This will be 7x. And this would be negative 42. And then you would combine these like terms here, and you would still get the same answer. Remember, if I go too fast, pause the video or go back and rewatch. The best thing you can do is go through the video and watch it the first time, and then the second time you go through, then write stuff down. And really, I really guarantee that that will help you a lot. So let's look at number 2. We're going to do the same thing. So we have the 2x times these two, and I like to just write that out. And then you have the 3 times these two, so I'm going to write that out. So then I'm going to multiply. So here we have 8x squared, and here we have negative 2x. And on this one, we have a 12x minus 3. Here we have some like terms, so 8x squared plus 10x minus 3. Now, if you use the box method, I can show you that. So here's your 2x, here's your 3. Here's your 4x and your negative 1. This is just a more organized way to multiply out. So 2x times 4x is 8x squared, and 2x times negative 1 is negative 2x. 4x times the 3 is 12x, and then this would be negative 3. And again, you would combine your like terms, and you'd end up getting the same thing I got there. So we got to make sure we know how to do that before we move on to the next part. So on the next part here, we're going to solve some rational equations. That's our goal. And check for extraneous solutions. So this means solutions that do not work. Okay, and it says leave your answers as fractions. Okay, we got this. So a lot of people know that when you have a fraction equals a fraction, so if we have a fraction equals a fraction, then you can cross multiply. Okay, but you have to have one fraction equals another fraction, which I think in this class is all we're going to do in these notes. So looking at this here, now remember when you're cross multiplying, it's 2 times this whole x plus 2, 2 times the whole x plus 2. So 2 times the whole x plus 2. And then here this is negative 4 times the whole x plus 1. So equals negative 4 times the whole x plus 1. Cross multiplying is just a shortcut, just to let you know. You could multiply the denominator and then multiply the denominator to undo the fractions. I'm just showing you a shortcut with the whole cross multiplying thing. But you got to make sure you got those parentheses or you're going to make some mistakes. So here we distribute 2x plus 4, and here when we distribute negative 4x minus 4. Now we want to get all our x's on one side, so I'm going to add 4x over here, and we do that, we have a 6x. And then I'm going to get all my numbers without x's on the other, so I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides here, and here we'll get negative 8. And then we're going to divide. So this is going to be negative 8 over 6, which is negative 4/3 when we reduce. Now we want to make sure we don't get extraneous solutions. And what you need to check for this is you need to make sure that your denominator cannot be 0, cannot equal 0. So if I take negative 4/3 and I add 1 to it, is that 0? No. So you're good. If I take negative 4/3 and I add 2 to it, is that 0? No. So you're good. So negative 4/3 is okay as a solution. Okay, let's keep going. Again, we're going to cross multiply. So this is 2 times the whole thing. So 2 times x minus 2. And this is x minus 2 times x plus 4. So make sure you keep those in the parentheses, okay? We're going to have some FOILing out, distributing out to do here, just like we had in the warm-up. So here first, we've got 2x minus 4, and over here we've got x times x, which is x squared, and x times 4, which is 4x. And here is negative 2 times x, so negative 2x, and negative 2 times 4, so negative 8. Now, anytime you have a square, you might be thinking, uh-oh, we may have to end up factoring, and you would be correct. So first thing, I'm not going to worry about the left side. On the right side, I'm going to combine those two like terms in the middle and get a positive 2x. Now I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, but what happens when I subtract 2x here and I subtract 2x here? Do you see what happens? That totally drops out, doesn't it? Look at that, it totally drops out. So now we don't necessarily need to factor because we can get this x alone by using square roots. So I'm going to add my 8 to both sides here. And when I do that, I get 4 equals x squared. Do you remember how to undo a square? You gotta take the square root and don't forget the plus or minus. So that's what you're going to get, and then the square root of 4 is 2. Now you want to check for extraneous solutions. So first, let's think about when x is positive 2. Is 2 minus 2 0? I'm up here in the denominator. And it is, so you cannot use that answer. And then think about your other answer, which is negative 2. Is negative 2 minus 2 0? No, it's not. It's negative 4, so only negative 2 is your answer. So this is why it's important. You have to check that denominator. You have to check it. All right, so let's go on over here to our last one, and we're going to do some cross multiplying again. I'm just going to pre-put those parentheses on there to make it a little bit better. So we're going to have x squared times x plus 2, and over here we'll have equals 4 times x plus 2. We're going to go ahead and distribute. This should be a crazy one. So x cubed plus 2x squared. And over here we're going to distribute. So we got 4x plus 8. Now I'm thinking maybe some factoring is going to happen because I can't get my x alone. So I'm going to actually move this and this to the other side. Now when I subtract 4x and I subtract 8, they have no like terms. So x cubed plus 2x squared minus 4x minus 8 equals 0. And we have learned in class what to do when we have 4 terms like this and we have to factor. We have to do it by grouping. So this would be x squared for their GCF with an x plus 1 left over. And over here, make sure you keep the sign. So negative 4, and then when I divide both of those by negative 4, we have an x plus 1 left over. So looking at this and looking at this, the huge GCF that they have is an x plus 1, and then what's left over would be an x squared minus 4. Now you could factor this further, but we've also learned you can just solve it. So we know x plus 1 equals 0, and we know x squared minus 4 equals 0. So here we get that x is negative 1, and over here we're going to have to add the 4. And then to undo a square, we take our square root. And I'm going to continue over here because I'm at the bottom of the page. So x is going to equal plus or minus 2. Now we need to go back up and look at our original problem, and we have to see if there's any extraneous solutions. So in the denominators, we have an x plus 2. So is negative 1 plus 2 a 0? And no, it's not. So you're all good. But here we have to check the positive 2 and we have to check a negative 2. Is 2 plus 2 0? No, it's not, so you're good. Is negative 2 plus 2 0 though? And it is, so bye-bye to that. So negative 1 and 2 are your only 2 answers for this problem. Again, it's really good if you go rewatch this. I know I went fast, so watch it multiple times or watch it once and then the second time through write stuff down. And until next time, bye!